I mean, my wife is from LA, so we
Oh,
come there every like a couple times
oh,
a year. I'll be there for DCon this year, which will be nice.
awesome.
Oh,
Great.
cool.
You guys will both be there?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna try to squeeze something out with Dove with you guys to do like
He still needs to
another
eat
piece.
dinner.
I got so much going on, and I feel like if we were to get something together in time for DCon, I'd kind of be rushing it. So no, I'll come, hang, make some
That's the name of
rounds.
the game, dude.
Yeah, if you're not
I
hating your
know.
life, you haven't done it right.
Yeah,
That's
no shit. That's
Yeah.
not. I'm not saying that's not the case at all.
Hey everybody, it's Dov from DKE Toys, and we are here at DKE Toys TV with our guest host, Death by Toys, Dan Polydoris,
Hello,
and
fellas.
always the ever-present Janky Toys, and Scott Cherry from Barbarian Rage. Woo!
Yay!
How you doing, guys?
Good.
I'm
I put
doing
on a
very
button-up
well.
shirt
Thanks
for
for
Dan today.
asking.
I wanted to get fancy since Dan was
Mm, thank you. I appreciate it.
Everybody's except for Scott, like looking pretty hairy. Like what's up with you, Scott? Where's the
You know what it
facial hair?
was? Okay.
How much
What it
time do you
is-
have as an artist to shave every single day?
You're doing it wrong.
Because whenever we do these, you know what it was? Epoxy Crusader was on last time, and I was like, I'm not gonna shave. And then I watched the playback, and I'm like, oh my god, dude, you look so bad. I got so self-conscious. It was hard for me to watch. It's hard for me. So today, how much time do I have? It took an hour and a half because I'm always late. I'm always late for these things. I'm always getting this text, Scott, where the fuck are you? The answer is I'm shaving.
I have not groomed myself in years, so Scott, whatever you're doing looks great. It's working for you. So I wish I have never known that feeling of looking at a recording or a picture of myself and not thinking, God, I look awful, or what is God? It's always it's every picture. I feel like even if you dress me up nice, it's like, oh, we took this homeless man out and dressed him
Put a
up,
little
and we're
perfume
gonna.
on him.
Yeah, he won a contest online, and now he gets to go out for a dinner or whatever. So
Wow.
Take him to Sizzler, clean him up,
Yeah,
and then put him right back.
right, his mom will pay. You know, you don't have to worry about that. So, no, so don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Looking real dapper there, Scott. So,
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Janky, Dove, get it together, you two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what you been up to lately?
Usual, man. This just happy my kids are back in school because I feel like every summer is just me struggling to try to get work done when they're not out of the house or like just having to go back and forth doing stuff. But I don't know, every day seems the same, but just more garbage and more stuff and more new stuff. I was hoping, Dove, that we'd be able to squeeze out a decon thing this year, especially since I'm going to be there. But I was telling these two before, just swamped, dude, and I feel like I'm shitting out some kind of garbage for you, so
don't worry about it. I mean,
we'll get one in
Dove's
next
used to
year or
it.
something.
You'll be on the table. I mean,
I mean,
I imagine, yeah, you'll have something maybe there or not.
well, we can talk about those things.
On sale now.
That wasn't me trying to force a segue.
Yeah.
That was me genuinely asking. I don't know how it. Yeah. So all right. I mean, that's nice that those will be there.
This is me lying awake thinking of some shit I said 4 years ago.
Thank you, man, for
your
doing
toys
those.
are like scarily too relatable. Like they hurt the soul when I read them.
Yeah, well, then welcome to how I feel every day. So see, you all have to suffer with me.
Wow. Fantastic figure. You'll have to buy one to actually like read all of the stuff on the back because the back is amazing. And pretty much everyone who sees this, we had a very small presence at San Diego Comic-Con this year, but I did send, a bucket full of figures, and this was hanging on the wall, and people would come by and be like, ha! Even if they didn't buy it, this is the one that
No,
So
I
these
appreciate it. Thank you for
these-
getting those done for me, dude.
no problem. And here is Deadbeat Dad.
So good.
Like not even any. It's like,
Right?
what are we
Just-
even looking at?
Yeah, really.
It's
Dan was
such a
kind enough
great.
to sign them all.
No, I wasn't going to, but then we talked, and you honestly convinced me to. I feel like every time we talk, I said this to my wife too, Dov. Every time I talk to you,
Mhm.
I feel like I get off the phone just a little bit better than I was
Slightly
before I got
wiser.
on the phone. Yeah, a little
Wow.
bit. I don't know. I feel like you just, I mean, all of you guys do so much for the scene, and I appreciate it. And but Dov, I've only really ever talked to you on the phone, but every time I do, I just feel like I walk away just a little bit more like, dude knows what's up, and I appreciate it. So thanks, Dov.
You know, I'm available. Uh, one day I'm just gonna like teach a class. It's gonna be called like How to Be a Human, and then I'm gonna make that. I'm gonna abandon all of this, and it's just gonna be like, I don't know. I'm gonna stop selling toys, and I'm gonna become like Tony Robbins, and I'm just gonna, and the number one rule, number one rule is gonna be like, don't be a dick.
It's a good rule.
Look,
That's
the problem with teaching that course is no one's going to show up because the people that actually need to attend will not.
Right. They don't realize they're being a dick.
The people that need it the most will not be in attendance.
I'm not really gonna do that, Scott.
And I'm not going to go, so
Are you
I
gonna
wouldn't go. So that proves Scott's point right there. So
Yes.
Yep.
Get a support quote for your marketing material. And
Yeah. Here's another fantastic one for anyone who is uninitiated. Is the thoughts and prayers, and
this is my favorite empty blister gag ever.
but the back is really what is. I mean, how long did it take you to write that?
I don't know. I don't know how long it took me to get you those files. A long time of that was just incompetence on my part, but I
No,
think
I'm
a
not
good
talking
amount
about
of
the
it was.
files.
But like I had to give you that thing, and I think in the process of that, it was probably equal me incompetently being able to give you stuff, and then the other half me just doing that. So I used a Word doc so that I could do search, so that I didn't repeat anything, that I didn't repeat words or descriptors or anything like that. I mean, I proofread it a million times. I was a professional proofreader for like 15 years. So
Wow.
good to
And
put that
have
skill.
Have you found a mistake since it's been printed?
Nah, I dare anyone anywhere out there
Dude,
find any typo on any piece I've ever made in my
The
life.
death by challenge.
Okay,
I mean,
so-
I fucked up things. I put a picture on a wasp on something that was supposed to be bees. I mean, it literally said bees on the package, but I don't know what the difference is.
Okay,
But
here we
like,
go. Here we go for anyone watching. If you buy this either at dketoys.com or at Dan's site, which he will plug in a little while, and you find on the back of this card a typo, we will send you one for free.
Yeah, I will personally send you one for free.
Oh, he's gonna do it. I was off.
Yeah, I'll put this up. This is me talking big. So
it will be filled with Dan's thoughts and prayers direct.
yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Sent
I
to
will
you.
personally fart in each of the bubbles
Yeah.
for you. So that's
I'm gonna read like 2 lines and before like my throat gives out here. It's like mass shoot used for any of the following unfortunate occasions: mass shootings, terrorism, bridge collapse, crime against humanity, dandruff, network connectivity issues, mild diarrhea, severe diarrhea, stadium fires, spilt milk. Is that a word? Spilt, SPILT?
hell yeah, it is.
Spilt milk.
Yeah.
Stepping in dog poo, random violence, brain tumors, melting ice cream, stubbed toes, shards, long lines, communicable diseases, short weekends, accidental death, unemployment, incineration during re-entry, bubonic plague, spontaneous combustion, upset tummy. That's only 3 lines. It just keeps going all the way. Insipid insipid poetry, unruly kindergartners, horrific spectacles, stupid idiots, superficial co-workers, knee-deep sewage, screaming kids, psychotic exes, hideous faces, bloated corpses, filthy accommodations, fishy smells, and more.
Got a hearing it out loud makes me feel like I really should be doing something else with my time or whatever.
No,
But I appreciate that very much, dude. So
there's a cadence to it. There's a tempo. You alternate your really bad ones and really good. A lot of thought went into that creatively.
like I said, it took, I'm very incompetent getting files, and then this took about that amount of time just working on that. So I don't know, it was a good few days of me just working on that. So it was fun to put together, though. I like that kind of nonsense. And especially since, it was a chance for me to finally, and I said it already, thank you for getting this stuff made, man. I really appreciate it, you guys, just because like, I've carded, I think I finally reached out to you, Dov, after I sold, I don't know, 500 or 600 of them out of my store. And I was like, I'm done, because it's 2 bubbles. So it's like 1,000 of those. And it's like, no, I'm done doing that. So when that was nice, I was stoked knowing that was going to be the case. And then, getting to put a backside on there and getting able to do something fun was fun to kind of take a little bit of time and throw that together. So I appreciate it.
The backstory for people who are unaware is most of the work that you do are one-of-a-kind figures. No,
that used to be the case, but hang on, I'm going to mute real quick while I cough because I'm a degenerate smoker. You guys are fucking dicks. Okay. I was like, did I not mute? Am I hearing more me? What? Okay. All right.
Wait till he cuts the episode together. I mean, if I just make a funny face like, and it's just like, man, do I pay the price?
Well, I sure love you guys, and I appreciate even that, so I can get into that, and I would do it to me too if I could. So no worries. No, man, I used to do mostly one-offs, if not only.
Mm-hmm.
Then I started doing small runs, 10, 20 or whatever, and then now it's almost anything that's like a shutdown run or like a very small run where I'm kind of like, that's enough of these, are either because it was something where I did a set run with somebody and we agreed to that many, or I just got sick of making them and didn't want to make them anymore, or they weren't cost efficient to make, and the joke was not good enough for how much time they made, or how much time they took to make and how much money they made. But no, over the last year or two, it's been just larger runs. Since I'm doing this full time, I've spent so much time kind of playing around with those and figuring out, as my following grew and as I just gained more of an audience, so many people would just say, raise your prices, raise your prices, raise your prices. You have more of a demand, raise your prices. And it's not that simple or that black and white. It's just raise your prices. Yeah, you can raise your prices and maybe get more for certain pieces, but you definitely start appealing to a much smaller specific market when your toys are at a higher price point. A lot of us have the benefit of that's our whole audience basically, and that's nice. But I was trying to expand out of just, I think of what I make as toys for people who don't collect toys basically. And to expand out of there, most normal people who think that the lying awake joke is funny, ha ha ha. Okay, how about $200? Fuck no, like I'm not going to pay that, the way someone who's deep in the game and is really into collecting will. So I played around, and once I found that once I started dropping, $100, a piece that I would normally charge 100, dropped it down to 60, 50, something like that. I mean, I would literally sell 10 times that, or just continue to sell nonstop, and that has worked better for me.
Right. And so that's when Dan came to us and picked out some ideas that he was A, tired of making, but B, wanted to have access to hundreds of them. And so those were the ones that we created. And this is the last one.
Genius.
Thank you.
Which is he gives us all the hard ones to do, the ones with 2 figures.
I know, dude. I know. I'm a diva.
It's totally fine. And
I mean,
this
that
figure
was because you wanted one so bad, Doug. And then
because
we'll make them.
You didn't even release this, right? You only made one and just posted it one day.
Yeah, that was one of those examples of,
And I was like, dude, when are you going to put this out? And you're like,
dude, I can't you're double casting, you're double painting, you're double carding. and we've talked about this in the past, you can't really double charge for a 2-pack. You
Right.
can upcharge a little bit,
Right.
but you can't really double charge. So for me, that was an absolute, I mean, I can resin cast.
I'm
I
learning
can
so
make,
much.
oh, I don't know about that at all, but I
No,
just,
it's true. It's true.
it's easy to get
True.
worked into a project that is kind of just, I mean, but if it's like a personal project or it's like a passion project, I'm all for it. Not everything needs to be like a money maker. Not everything needs to be an earner. I look at the stuff that I make kind of in two groups actually, as earners and burners. My old business partner, my business dude who lived next door to me, he was Mr. Business Guy, and we had not very much in common, but we would connect on some really weird pieces kind of. And he would refer to my pieces as earners and burners. The earners are the ones that constantly bring in money that I constantly keep in stock, that keep selling. And then the burners, sometimes just a throwaway thing that maybe nobody's going to think is that funny, or no one's going to really pay quite what the amount that you put into it and time or whatever. But, those are necessary, I feel like,
Let me ask you a question. So then the burners, this is always my problem. Is I always go, I'll just toss this together, because I like it. I think it's fun. And then you get all these messages. Oh my God, I gotta have that. I gotta have that. I'm like, well, it's just the one. And
Yeah.
now you're locked into making like 100 of them, and you're like, I really just wanted to make the one. Right? Does that happen to you too?
Well,
Yeah,
I'm into
that's
Adam and Steve one.
that's the
I
story
know,
of this. I mean,
it
that
is, and honestly, that's happened to me, and that's sort of, there's a few sort of solves that I've worked out for that. One is not so much a solve as just, no, you don't get it. No one one person gets it, eBay it, and that's it, and we're done. And like, yeah, and it's like, that's it, tough. There'll be other pieces. We'll all move on, and it's fine. And you can, another thing that I'll do is, if I make something that, took a lot longer to make than what I could, is not really an efficient piece to keep in the store, people like it or whatever. A good example of that, well, it doesn't matter, is what I'll try to do is modify it in a way that I'm able to make multiples. And sometimes that just means cutting the quality of it, cutting the detail of it, maybe changing the card to differentiate it from that original piece that someone paid a few $100s for. And usually, if it's just because it's like a joke, like that lying awake thing, that had a cloth sleeping bag or blanket the first time I made it, and then I was like, well, it's just cast them. And you're so nice, Dov. You sent me pictures. Like, does this look okay? Like, yeah, it looks great. It looks fine. It's like a stupid joke that doesn't really need to be great, So if I do a piece that, maybe took a little bit longer and a bunch of people really want one, yeah, if I can try to just simplify it or make it some version of it that's easier to crank out a bunch, that's kind of what I'll try to do. But if I can't, man, like you said, Scott, when it's like, okay, I don't want to make this many of this piece that I made for fun and now I'm locked in, it's just like, no one gets them. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like,
You ruined it.
Yeah, kind of.
You took a fun little thing that I did for myself, and you ruined it.
It's an interesting problem set that we have to solve because our art form is so close to product. Like, I've talked about this many times before, but when we do that right, for a lot of us, it's supposed to look like something you buy off a shelf, and then be like a weird skew of that, right? And so I think when you do like a one-off throwaway piece, everybody just assumes you can crank out 60 of them because that's what they're used to. If you do it looks like a product, they think you can just knock those out. It's like, no, this was an experiment, or I was playing, or whatever. And I mean, it's
a nightmare to create, and I don't want to do it again.
That was the sax player, Sexy Sax from Lost Boys. It took like 8 hours to figure for that, and I made 10 of them, and they sold out immediately. And people keep requesting it, but I don't want to spend 8 hours per figure.
Yeah, Capello for Tim Capello, is that what it was?
Yeah, the Tim Capello figure.
He's got chains and stuff. I imagine those were a pain. Totally,
it was a nightmare. I love it, but I like, Yeah, do I even have one? I don't think
8
I don't even
hours.
have one.
Don't even want to look at it anymore.
Yeah.
Eight
And
hours for
that's what
one
happens
figure.
too.
Yeah, it's because I had to tie dye his pants with paint, and
Oh, jeez.
so you're laying down a
Oh,
layer
yeah.
of blue, and then a layer of pink, and then a layer of purple, and then you have to keep relayering
God.
to get that tie dye effect, and then the
Yeah,
chain.
and people see that it looks like a rack toy, and they're like, "Well, how come you can't just make a bunch of these right now?"
Yeah.
And
It's
like,
like-
well, I mean, even a good example of that is the stupid cigarette that I made from The Shining that had the super long
That
ash
was
from Wendy.
so funny. That's why that observation, because everyone that's seen that movie is like waiting for the ash to fall.
Heavy duty, huh?
And like it's always in the back of your mind when you see that. I thought that I pissed my pants laughing
So
the first time I saw
appreciate
that. That was such a funny.
Well, thanks, dude. I
such a
appreciate it.
great-
And people really liked it, and that was one that everyone wanted one of those. And the fact is that I made that out of a Bic pen that I cut to cigarette length, printed out just a brown filter so that Wendy's is actually white, but I put the brown filter so that it read more like a cigarette at a glance. And then dremeled the end of it up until the tip, and then hit it with a coat of light gray, then detailed it with a little bit of white for super burnt ash, and then hit it with a little bit of black to make it. I mean, it took so long to do, and that was one. Like, can't you just crank out a bunch of them? Like, no, I can't. I could probably crank out a shitty version that
How about a real cigarette? Dan's out in the garage smoking.
Just smoking them down.
For you guys, okay?
Smoke clear coat. Smoke clear coat. You gotta keep that ash strong.
Yeah.
Sorry, honey, I'm working overtime tonight.
Well, you do 3 or 4 at once, and you really maximize that. Yeah.
Efficiency.
Yeah. So, but that's like a perfect example of that. Scott was just like, dude, I don't know how I would have realistically copied that over and over and over. And eventually maybe I will come up with some crappier version that's just like a rolled up printout of a cigarette with ash or something that just reads at a glance like that, drop the price point way down and do a bunch of them. But no, I didn't give it that much thought. We all had a good laugh at Wendy's cigarette, and I was like, let's just move on with our lives and on to the next piece of shit. So or whatever.
You only made one?
Yeah, just one. eBayed it, and that was that.
Oh.
How much did that sell for?
I don't know. It was under $500 though. So somewhere 4 or something, I think. I want to say 420, but that might be because I'm a little high right now. So I don't know. You know what I mean, bro?
$69.
I was 420 somewhere.
Yeah, I wanted to say 69 because I'm also 69ing right now. So I don't know if my camera's on or not, but you have to take my word for it. So
Wow.
I know what your next figure is going to be.
I hope it's not me 69ing.
69ing on a Zoom call.
Yeah, that's something we can all relate to. One of those human truths we all know.
Wow. So how much of your day would you say you spend on like creativity versus like the business bullshit?
This year's been a little bit better because I have someone helping me out now with production. So I spend less time printing, mounting cards, cutting cards, doing bubbles, that kind of stuff. So I'd say for the first time, and that's due to my friend Adam Crone, AC Toys, just throw that out there. Good man. He's a great artist too, and he does really great work and has really helped me be able to balance that out. Before it wasn't even close to 50-50. Not even 50% of my time was spent creatively. It was over, it would have been 75% of my time was printing, carding, doing new runs. I was at the point where I was not even putting new runs of stuff in my store because I wanted to get the back orders out the door first. And then that's 1 or 2 days that you lose that you need to have money coming in.
Sure.
So with this, I feel like I spend over half my time now being able to do creative stuff and less than half my time carding stuff, carting small runs myself or packing boxes, which is just literally everywhere I go. Boxes, boxes, boxes. They're everywhere. So,
what is your creative process? Because my creativity, it sort of strikes like a lightning bolt. Like it comes out of nowhere. You know, like while
Sure.
I am packing boxes or eating lunch or taking a shower or whatever. But where does your how do you
Mhm.
harvest your creativity?
I mean, so that is absolutely just something that happens no matter what for me. I just anywhere, just at times, just oh shit, what if it was like a dick, but it was bad? You know, I mean, the most juvenile thing can come out of nowhere, you know. Or you could be at your kid's soccer game and see, or a little league game and see a dad yelling and go home and make an angry little league dad figure because you had to deal with one of those, you know. So stuff like that will always be the case where something pops in either very clearly from some external thing or just sort of out of nowhere. Like you said, Scott, just eating lunch and then suddenly you've got an idea. The problem with that is you're kind of just at the mercy of that. And while those ideas and those moments are great, you know, I can't, I have to keep cranking out shit and I have to keep putting new stuff in my store. So that second,
Do you always know what you're going to do next? Like if you're working on something right now, do you always know what the next project's going to be?
a little bit. I mean, I have the kind of phases. I still always just work in just like a notebook and come up with ideas. If something is halfway decent enough in there, I'll design a card back or something like that. Card back's done and it's not egregiously horrible. Most of the time, I'll just get it in the store. I mean, if no one buys them, which has never been the case, I've never not sold anything. But you know, if it's a pretty low selling piece, eventually maybe I'll just retire it or whatever. But a lot of it is just sitting and having to just come up with ideas, and that seems strange, but you know, I've heard plenty of artists use that thing of like, you know, I don't have an idea, I can't come up with an idea, you know, and that obviously happens. But I spent 10 years also as a copywriter on top of being a proofreader. And during those years as a copywriter, you know, you're tasked with these. I mean, some of it's fun. Writing for fun comedy things was awesome, but you're also writing for Crate and Barrel. And when you're tasked with these just inane tasks of just like, write about how the wood on these drawer boxes comes together with dovetail joinery. Like, okay, well, you just said it. Like,
But
okay, well,
yeah,
we need you to do
can I use
more now
that?
on that. And it's like, no, but
Artisanal dovetail
you
joint.
know, and it's like, or it's just like, look at this thing and write about it. And it's like, I don't know what to do. And it's like, that doesn't matter. Like, you need to have it done by the end of the day. So tough shit if you can't figure it out. When I wrote for a trivia game, it was X amount of questions every day, X amount of these other types of things every day. That's it. And you get them done and you just get them done. And you don't have an idea. You're sitting there. Well, start looking around at stuff or whatever it is that you've figured out as a way to kind of generate ideas. You just do that. And, you know, sometimes you'll look back and be like, okay, today was a day of shit. But they were there and, you know, but you just keep repeating that process. You keep repeating that process. And the way we don't stop physically making stuff, you know, the way we're all always in our studio painting stuff, making stuff, building stuff, I just never make sure I stop thinking about new ideas. If I stay out of my notebook and I stay out of that process of, I mean, it's an actual process for me of like, can't just, it's like sitting and taking some time. And for me, like, I need a little bit of time to either decompress or get out of whatever the hell's going around and let your brain get a little bit playful or start going down a rabbit hole of something or something like that. And it's different for everybody, but you know, I love a good lightning bolt idea that's just like, yeah, we're
yeah,
doing this.
yeah. You know,
It's so nice.
I stopped. I used to write every idea that I had. I used to write it down, and I stopped doing that because I was like, if I if I'm not as excited, like if I like I have to be overwhelmed with excitement to do it. That if I had to write it down in case I forgot, I feel like that's not a
Not
good
a great
enough
idea.
idea
Yeah.
because for so long, for years, I just stopped few years ago because I was in the middle of a dry spell, like right when I first started making toys, and I was like, can I make this? I'm like, I could cast this, right? I'm like looking around for something and I'm like, this is pathetic. And I went back to my notebook and I was like, surely there's got to be some gold in here. And I'm like, this is the stupidest fucking shit. I was like, how stoned were you that you thought that this was a good idea? And
Yeah, that's not a good, I gotta just address that point real quick, Scott, because like you would never speak like that to someone else. If Janky opened his notebook and showed you some old stuff, or if I showed you some old stuff that even if I didn't make it, you would be like, okay, maybe you didn't make that toy because it's not great. It's not a fully developed idea. There's something there. You wouldn't say to one of us, how fucking stupid are you to think that that was a good idea? So
Clearly, you've
saying that
never
to-
gotten notes from Scott before because he
just saying that to yourself is not
He
a
might
good
not
thing.
say it, but he might be thinking it.
Yeah, and we all can, man. But I just feel like, Scott, you're such a good dude, and you would never talk to someone else like that. And you shouldn't talk to yourself like that, because I have the same deal. I have the same thing of notebooks. And I throw them out when I'm done. I throw out the old ones and I move on to the next one.
Get out, really?
The old one hangs around for about, you're catching me in a transition phase. When the new one shows up, I hold on to the old one for about a month, 3 weeks or so, just to kind of, what I'll do is I go back and I look at stuff, and some of it's practical stuff like putting pieces together for an art show or whatever, listing things or whatever, just to kind of visualize stuff. Some of it's sketches, some of it's just idea. I'm in a like mentally going down a rabbit hole about, I don't know, different zoo experiences or something. I'm scribbling stuff down. Yep, maybe they're all mediocre at best. The next day I'll look through all of that shit, maybe take nothing, maybe take one of those 30 ideas and be like, this isn't it, but there's maybe something here.
sure.
And that guy's going to go to the next page or to the next page. Then I'll do that again. I'm making more ideas. And I go back a few pages again. Oh shit, I forgot about this. This is kind of funny. This is all rubbish. We can forget about this. And then what I kind of noticed through the notebooks is that certain ideas just keep traveling from page to page to page, and they don't always necessarily get designed, or they start morphing from page to page, whatever. And sometimes they'll just eventually then fizz out to nothing, or sometimes then they get made. And that's the transition phase, is kind of looking back at some of the old pages and getting them in the new one. And then that just keeps going on. And,
How many of these books? How many of these books have you thrown out?
Oh, I don't know. I mean,
Dov will buy
I mean,
them from you from now
Yeah,
on.
just please put them in an envelope, sign them and date them and send them to me. This is
Yeah,
like
Diary of a Madman.
this is
No,
like
I mean-
Andy Warhol's like boxes of like junk. Like this is that's the
No,
gold.
no, I really appreciate that sentiment, but it's not. I mean, for me, I use it as, because like I wrote for so long, and I guess I still look at toys or creating anything as like a process of discovery, which is
Right.
like what writing has always been, and for me. And so with that, it's just halfway decent idea, get it out there. Maybe that'll bring something new. By the time you're done with your notebook, or you're done with your hour of just brainstorming or coming up with ideas, you have something there that wasn't there at the beginning of that hour, that might work, might not. Maybe you'll have a baller idea, maybe you'll have nothing, maybe it'll be the beginning of a baller idea. But that process for me is the only way to force new ideas to keep going. I still love those Scott lightning bolt ideas where they're just kind of come out of nowhere. But
Yeah,
I
because I'm
flex
a
them
fountain of creativity.
you can't be stopped is the thing. You're a force that can't be stopped.
It's
And
look, I'm what's known as an artistic juggernaut.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard people refer to you as that. So I knew
Yeah,
that. That's how I only
yeah,
knew you
I
as
know,
for a while.
I know. But
And I don't know if that makes any sense. Any of
No,
that
this
stuff.
is- it's sort of
it
like
does.
a masterclass sort of in thinking about process, because I think a lot of people don't think about process. I think a lot of people think about and I'm generalizing here, but I think a lot of people, we talk about like the process of making the toys and making the molds and all of that, but the ideation process doesn't get talked about a lot. And I know everybody's different and everybody works in different ways. And I'm one of the guys where the card back and the story and the joke and the writing, like, that's more important to me than the toy is. Whereas Scott is sort of not the other direction, because the card back and everything is very important to Scott, but the toy is the primary piece for him. He wants perfection in the joints and the casting and everything. And everybody comes at it from a different way. But I feel like we don't spend a lot of time talking about the ideation process. And so just hearing about your snowball effect and moving them down page, I hope people are listening to this and taking notes, because even if that's not the way for them to do it, having a process, having a creative process like that is going to open so many creative doors and idea doors that weren't there before. I don't know.
I hope so.
I thought that was cool.
Thank you, dude. That means a lot. And I hope someone takes something away from that. Again, I do not say that as this is how it should be done.
Right.
It's how it's done for me. And that, a lot of that is the process of being a creative writer and a copywriter for years and years, and just the process I kind of developed doing that and just carrying it over to this. It's also a process I like doing. I like sitting and painting, and I like being in my studio and stuff, but I like being with my notebook outside or whatever. And maybe have a beer and sit there, or smoke a little weed, let your brain get a little bit weird, or just sitting while my kids are watching TV and just sit there and kind of scribble ideas down. It's a part of this that I really like doing, that takes no equipment, and no setup or anything. It's just this. And I only use pencils anyways, because I've stained too many couches with a pen that I forgot I was sitting on or something like that. So but that's all you need.
Or put it through the wash. That was the last pen that I used.
Good one.
That was the last pen that I used.
Yeah, so pencil and a notebook is pretty cheap, and for me that's kind of nice to be able to use that stuff to be able to come up with fun ideas. So
wow. So how old are your kids now?
10 and 8.
And so when they go to school and they say, like, what do your parents do? Like, what do they say, like, their dad does?
I mean, they get that this is not normal.
That's what they say.
Yeah, they understand that they see
say
things. I mean,
my dad's not normal.
They understand that a lot of the stuff that I make, they can't even repeat to their friends.
Wow.
Luke, my oldest, literally today or last week, came in here to talk to me about something. I was just sitting here working. I was like, "What's up?" Yeah, and he goes, "Dad, what's jizz?" And this was just sitting out because I was working on this, and I was like, "All right." He's like, is it like, and before I answer, he's like, "Is it like pee?" And I was like, "Yeah, essentially." Let's get you out of here, buddy, and we will put you away. And so they understand. They see a lot of stuff. They see a lot of shitting my pants jokes, or they see a lot of dying shit. And they also see a lot of horror stuff. And I also do a lot of work with horror studios, so I get sent all sorts of weird stuff. And my daughter loves Halloween 6, which is 5 and 6 are like my two jams. And so they kind of just understand, like, what is dad, if that question were to come up, like, what does your dad do? It's like, he makes toys. I feel like one of them would unknowingly use the phrase adult toys, which is like a different thing. But they say, I've heard them say, like, you make toy, like, to their friends when they come over, like, why the fuck does your dad have a giant ET in his office or whatever? And they're like, he makes toys like that, but it's like grown-up stuff is what they say.
It's like this, like, why does your dad have a giant ET in his office? And he goes, well, do you know what jizz is?
I know. They've like grown up so quickly already too. They're like, yeah, they know all that shit. So I don't know, but but my I used to kind of be like, I don't know how I felt about it. I think I kind of always was sort of daunted. It's always kind of seemed daunting to me to kind of, both of my parents were very boring, no creativity or anything like that. And, it was my wife who said, she's like, you should like, that's okay. It's weirdo stuff for sure. And, there's ET stuff everywhere. There's Star Wars stuff everywhere. There's Garfield. I mean, I just have so much weirdo stuff and I love this stuff, but she was like, maybe it's like an inspirational thing for your kids to see their dad doing something that he loves, that he is able to support himself doing, and you too, and whatever. And I don't know, she's way more optimistic than I am. And in my mind, I'm just like, nah, I just Predator Jizz scarred him for life, and that's it. But
Are your kids creative, or are they more like your parents? Where
my son is very much like very pragmatic, very practical, I feel like he's going to end up being an investment banker who's going to be like,
he's the Alex P. Keaton of the family.
right, who's like my fucking loser dad with his Halloween 6 shit. Like, I don't need any of this stuff. Like, I don't want to look at Garfield. I don't ever want to hear another thing about aliens versus predators. I just want to look at spreadsheets. And but my daughter is very much like I was when I was a kid, and is just even with kids everywhere, it's devices. I mean, she loves her iPad as much as, no, less than other kids do, because she is someone that will let it die, doesn't even care about it, and then will just what are you doing, Maddie? Like, I cut this pair of pants that I had so I could make 4 little sleeping bags for these stuffed animals. And it's like, okay, well, did you want those pants? Like, no. Oh, well, okay. Can I see them at least? And it's like, oh, those are actually kind of rad. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, she's really good, and like has a hot glue gun. She's 8, so she, works with a hot glue gun. She has a little sewing machine that she uses, and she made us bracelets that I got married in June, and the kids officiated our wedding. And
that's awesome.
Wow.
Maddie made bracelets for us since we didn't do a ring exchange there. And then she had like a little pouch, like a side pouch that she had made so she could carry her stuff at the wedding. And
Cool.
so she's kind of like me, just like, I'll sit here and just, I'm gonna make something out of nothing here.
I can tell you, because I had 2 very creative parents. My dad's a composer, my mom's a watercolor artist, and they're both amazing. I mean, really genuinely talented, and they don't understand a fucking thing about it. So having creative parents doesn't mean they're going to connect on that level. They
suppose so.
I'll be like, I got a new thing coming. Like, what? And they'll show it to them, and they just look like, that's funny.
I mean, we are in the ropes course of weirdo art forms too. I mean, this stuff is
still so young too. It's still really
it is.
On.
I mean, they're super supportive.
It is hard to.
Yeah, they love that I'm being creative. They love that I'm doing this. They just don't understand.
Yeah, that was how both of my parents felt. Yeah, for sure. Supportive, but like, I'll hand this phone back to you. I don't know.
Right.
All right, that's fair. So
now it's time for What Did Dov Buy?
Hey dude, what'd you get?
Well, speaking of a weird art form, so I know we've shown this before because Scott got one, and then I had to hurry up and get one, but I just got these in the mail from Simeon Cheese.
Yeah.
Oh man,
and I've been waiting so long, and it's just so worth it.
Oh,
and it's this mad ball. It's his worst toy ever. It's called a golden ball.
That looks just great.
It's unbelievable. It's squishy, and I don't know what he did. He got like a nylon sock, or whatever that is. Like, it just A+. But then I couldn't resist because Scott got one.
You got the faker.
The faker.
Yeah. He also made some They Live ones with the bug eyes and the.
There you go. And even printed on the card, he printed like consume.
Oh man.
And obey. And I just thought, like, oh, this is so next level. Like, this is what like this art form is all about. Because if you get it, right, it speaks to you instantly, right? It's like, and it just, sometimes there's things that require an explanation. They require some context. And then there's other stuff that, like, and that's the favorite stuff that we sell, especially at, we're only doing one convention a year, but when someone walks by and they see, the thoughts and prayers, and then you see the, like, the transformation, like, I'm walking down the aisle, oh, I see something, and then you just see, they just, like, you see the light bulb moment. And that just it happens every once in a while, and it's really a fantastic thing.
No, I appreciate you helping out to make those happen, dude. I really could not have done it without you. So thank you.
Nice. You are welcome. It's what we do. Another thing I got from the Space Mars guy.
Ooh, more Space Mars. What's
is,
that? Look at that.
Golden Retriever Bochu. So this is like this is like his Chewbacca. It's got like a little Darth Vader mouth.
Oh yeah, how
and
fun!
You know, it's to scale with his other like Luke and Han figures, but it's like this is I don't know.
That's pretty amazing.
I don't know if I've ever seen those before. That it's a vinyl toy or
you know what I'm talking about. This is the Space Mars guy. Is the guy who did. We showed that C-3PO last time and the Darth Vader.
Oh yeah.
But he also did this size. He did those Luke and Han figures.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I do know. Yeah.
Ian's running to the other room to get it. But anyway, I just saw that, and then I sent him a DM. I was a little like embarrassed. I was like, "This is the Chewbacca character, right?" I mean, because it's so like out there. Like this is supposed to be, you know, part of his line. And here's goes with these guys.
Oh right, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, those are great.
Right. So I don't know. Thought that was. What else? There's a couple little fun things here. Toy Weaver. I showed this before. This is another situation where I saw something on Instagram and I was bugging Gary Weaver from Toy Weaver Customs for, I don't know, a year more to get like this set of Star Trek Snaggletooth. But in the photo was a Klingon. And when these showed up, he's like, I made them for you. And then I was like, where's the Klingon? And then 6 months later, I don't know, a year later, however long it's been, boom.
Good man.
Wow,
Like,
that translated.
Old school.
They work so well. It's like,
man,
that's awesome. He does awesome work.
yeah.
His Tron pieces are insane.
Insane. Yeah.
The last Starfighter that
line he did was
because it was the arcade game that he has.
But it was a working
actual.
It was a working like it was like a screen, and then he took the Luke head and then he turned that into the. It was like.
But not only was it just the screen, it was the actual video game that they play in the movie, playing on the arcade cabinet.
Man.
How do you feel about not making another cigarette now, Dan?
I still feel fine not doing it. Yep, I'm okay.
I have way more free time. Didn't have to worry.
Yeah, okay, I'm over it. Yeah, I have a short memory, so that helps. So.
Wow.
Yeah, Toy Weaver makes awesome stuff. I almost pulled the trigger on one of his Tron pieces that were all the different color. I don't know, they look like the old Tomy ones, just so good.
They're amazing. They're amazing. Yeah,
really incredible.
One talented dude. The last thing I'm going to show you is there's a guy in Singapore. His name is Mark Poon. He is on Instagram at Pro Custom Figures, and I don't know if he bought a set of the unreleased droids and Ewoks figures from Kenner back in the day, or how he got the molds, but he has slowly been releasing. So back in the day, in like 1985, in the Ewoks line, there were 6 Ewoks that were from the cartoon. But in the catalog, there was another 6 figures that never came out. And those prototypes, whenever they come up for auction, you know, they're like $20,000 each or something crazy. And he is slowly, one at a time, releasing injection molded versions of these toys. So they're not exact, right? You know, a professional could tell the difference between the and I'm not sure if they're paint masters that got released. There's, you know, several collectors out there that have sets and they're carded. But he made, and so this is not resin, this is injection molded. So this is like real production. He made.
The guy's name is Pro Custom, you know.
I mean,
he's pro. He's gone pro.
He made the aluminum coins for each one.
Damn.
And he made the I mean, they look like. I
Wow.
mean, these were taken from real Kenner sculpts, but still, just the idea that he made injection molded, it's really just sort of mind blowing. So, if you go to his site, there's 4 Ewoks out already. There's 2 more that he just took a pre-order for. But previous to this, he released all of the droids, including the Vlix. So
Huh.
Vlix was the
Yeah.
one character that was released in Brazil, in that line, and then so he released a Brazilian Vlix, and then a Vlix that was
Fully
based
waxed.
on the yes, that one. Anyway, if
The
you're
slow
into
burner
that kind of
scout, but I
stuff,
liked it.
pretty cool. What else?
That's amazing. I
Yeah.
mean, those toys, I mean, they're more amazing than the cartoon, which stinks,
Yeah,
but the toys are cool. I
It's
remember
true.
even watching that cartoon as a kid, I was like,
It's-
I'm dipping.
Yeah.
I'm
It's-
out.
it's
I'm
tough.
tapping out, man.
See if the holiday special's on somewhere. I can't take this anymore.
Droids is good.
Droids is fine.
Droids
Yeah.
Yeah,
is
that's got a
watchable.
little charm and is fun. Yeah, the Ewoks cartoon is
Ewoks is
real rough. It's a rough watch.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought Droids was rough when I was a kid also. I mean, but I don't know, like there's some things I gravitated towards. Like I could watch like the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon, I could watch Smurfs all
That's
day.
a good cartoon.
But like, put on He-Man and it was like, oh my god, this is just
He-Man.
Yeah.
There's a couple episodes that are good.
yeah. There's a few other figures we made for
Paul
Toy
Dini, he's a good writer.
Yeah, Dini getting it done there. Yeah.
We made some figures for Toy Tokyo for New York Comic Con. We made some colorways of the Ron English.
Cool.
And this one
So
has a little Toy
good.
Tokyo sticker. It's signed by Ron English on the back, and there's 20 pieces. This is coming out October 12th through 15th at New York Comic Con, booth 1170. This is the Superpowers colorway.
Awesome.
That's great.
And then we made
Yeah,
10
that is
each.
fantastic.
This is the Heath Ledger Joker.
These are awesome. These turned out really
Those
good.
are fantastic.
Oh, nice. And this is the Joaquin Phoenix.
Wow, all of those are automatically recognizable just
Yeah.
by the colors.
It's,
We don't get a Nicholson? Come on.
The Nicholson might be a little
You'd have
too
to
close
pinstripe.
to
You'd
the
have to paint the pinstripe
superpowers.
on the suit. And, yeah.
unless you have the hat, and unless you could resculpt for those cheeks, like because once you just do that messy smile for Heath Ledger,
Right,
like
it works
it's
right away.
Yeah.
clearly evident, and then the eyes and the mouth on the Joaquin Phoenix, the red suit,
Yeah.
we toyed around with some other ideas. What did we talk about? We had
Caesar Romero. And
Like to
you
do
paint
Caesar
a
Romero and just-
mustache.
Painted over mustache.
White
White over
mustache.
it.
these were the 3 that really stuck out. Like the other ones, it just would not have. It wouldn't work without an explanation. All right. So one more thing, Dan. Can we talk about that little move that you did before, like the elephant in the room there?
What was it? That's a good dude, and you would never talk to someone else like that. You shouldn't talk to yourself like that.
I don't know. Were you farting? You did this
No.
thing, and you just sort of lifted up, and like you like did this like
Oh, I
fucking,
was
this fucking
crossing my
yoga
legs.
thing, and then you
I was sitting
boom,
cross-legged.
and I was
so-
like, wow,
I'm
that was
sitting like this.
that's amazing. And I was like, oh,
Yeah,
he's
no,
wearing
I-
pants, cool. Like he just
Yeah,
like
we got him on. This
yeah, he just flashed me, and I was like, oh, that was amazing. Like, what was that?
Just me hovering over my seat so I can sit like a 4-year-old like this. So
Little Dalsum action there. Yeah.
Wow. So
yeah.
Yoga fire!
What's next for you? What's up? What's going on?
I honestly don't know. I stopped taking commissions, although I took a couple I don't even know what the hell I'm doing.
When you
No, I'm hoping
real
when-
quick, when you do a commission, is that someone like, I want you to do my Aunt Gertrude, and then you go, you put
Dude,
the
I
thing
will
together
not
and you
even.
go,
I don't even fuck with that shit anymore, dude. I found that people with their family members, it's just not for me. It's not.
the-
So
yeah.
when I do commissions, it's usually either somebody I know already, for somebody that I know, like it's for a celebrity that I know or an actor, someone like that, or it's for like a friend or just someone I admire maybe. But
Hmm.
no, I can't. I can't get in bed with strangers anymore. It's a rare case if I will. And lately I've picked up about 3 or 4 that I've got going on right now just because it all kind of culminated. But no, I admire people like Dano and I don't know, even Retro Gimmick who will do personal commissions of family, and I cannot get down on that. I've done it once or twice and it's just not for
It's
me.
so hard. Yeah.
It's people's loved ones, and it's like
It's
the way I make
it's the expectation, and you can sort of tell in the first few minutes of the phone call, like, hey, do you make
yes.
figures? Like, yeah, I can get something made for you. It's like, oh, well, I want like me in a Shazam costume, and I'm really concerned about the color, and I'm really concerned about this, and I'm really concerned, and it's like,
This is
I,
not going
I have
to
someone
be.
I can refer you to, and then I refer it
That's
out.
the
And it's
move.
like,
That's the
yeah,
move.
Yep,
it's
and
like,
I'll do that too. If someone is, I mean, it's someone that isn't necessarily a pain in the ass, but just isn't looking for work
Yeah.
that I do.
Mhm.
If they're especially a pain in the ass or a jerk or someone that I just don't want to deal with anymore, I'm like, go to Dan O'Brown. There you go, buddy. You deal with that now. Now, Dan O'Brown, you're gonna love him.
Poor
There you
Dan.
go,
I think
Dano.
he does get a lot of very weirdo requests,
Oh,
and
I'm
he's very
sure.
choosy
Yeah, I'm
about what he
sure.
does, which is good. He has that luxury of being able to
Yeah,
pick and choose.
Yeah.
yeah.
Which is nice. And I've also found that, for the most part, I sell more pieces that are, even if it's a novelty, even if it's nothing like those empty packages, if it's like a funny idea that I came up with on my own that I like, I've had more success selling those than I do with, like a one-time one-off for like a personal commission or something like that. So they
well,
eventually
sure,
just even
you
stopped becoming.
you can't keep making those. I mean, if you make something because you think it's funny, you're inspired, you make it and you put it out there, and then if it resonates, you like you said, you can make more. You find other cheaper ways of making it. But if it's someone's family member, there's like you put in the same amount of
Get the
time or
one. Yeah.
more to to make it together and put it all together, and that's it.
Yeah.
Without the prospect of making
Right.
more in the future. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think with the not only the expectation that you're making Uncle Earl, he needs to look right, but they're paying way more than they probably would expect to pay for an action figure most of the time. And so not only am I
Absolutely.
making Uncle Earl, I just paid $500 for Uncle Earl or whatever, and then it becomes a whole like
Yeah, totally.
the bar is set way too high.
And then they open it up.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
Looks more like Aunt Mildred.
You had a toy on Jimmy Fallon.
You have your own action figure. I don't know if you know this. The Art of Self-Defense. Here's Jesse Eisenberg's action figure. Wow. That's real, man.
This is amazing.
That's unbelievable, right?
Yeah, it's really. We
It says-
we weigh the same.
Yeah, we made that to be opened though. That was
Okay.
specifically. I had to overnight a specific one that I made that had arms that would move. That we sent to the studio overnight.
Yeah, it's this like cool small company, Death by Toys, and they
Yeah.
make like limited batch action
That's
figures.
one of 10 action figures.
Yeah.
That's you, buddy.
Now there's only 9 left. Sorry.
I mean,
That was like the joke, was that there's only 10 and then he's screwing up one of them.
And then,
so.
okay.
And
I watched that movie because of that, because you made the toy for it. That's a great
nice.
movie.
Isn't it awesome?
That's a fantastic movie.
Dude, it's great. And the director, Riley, awesome guy. he didn't contact me first. The studio did, Bleecker Street. Either way, they gave me a screener, and when I watched it, I was like, "Holy shit, this movie's awesome!" And like that's
It's
another thing. Like,
great.
if I
Yeah.
like what you're doing in any capacity of what it is that you
It
do,
makes it so much easier.
and I'll
Right.
I'll get in bed with you then. I'll do that. If I
Sure.
like what you're doing, I'm on board with that. And I just I loved the movie. I am one of the people that loves Jesse Eisenberg. I really
me
like the
too.
fact that he has no social media. I like the fact that he just kind of works. He doesn't act like a pain in the ass. He's just people literally give him shit because he has like OCD, which is like, okay, is that where we're at? Where we're just gonna mock a man because he has like issues that are going like that's okay, great. But people are turned off by it because they take it as like smugness or neuroticism or they take it as that. But
But
I've always
also,
liked him.
have you ever seen a bad performance from him? Like, no, it's like he's always
Kills it,
always
man.
in it and nails it. Like, most other
Yeah.
actors you can say like, oh yeah, the guy that wasn't their best work. It's like he's always
He
like
brings it.
just
All the toy nerds were like, you're lucky that you don't have social media because I was gonna break you over the coals, man. You triggered my OCD.
Yeah, dude was real cool about it. That was a nice little highlight for me. Seems like it was a million years ago too, to be honest. It makes me feel like Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite that we're talking about it right now too.
I can throw this.
Yeah, you guys
I bet I can
remember
throw this
that?
action figure over those mountains.
I bet I could make like 10 Jesse Eisenberg figures right now, dude, over those mountains. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
all right, what else we got to cover here? The interview we posted last Friday is from Random Skull, so make sure that you check that out. We have gonna have a drawing very soon. We're almost at 500 subscribers, so as soon as we get to 500, probably on the very next show, we are going to give away this limited edition set, 5 Ron English gold matching numbered figures, a value $500 value. And I think we need like a dozen more people to follow us to get to 500.
We are at as of filming, we are at 487.
And don't forget, I've also sweetened the pot with a single pack of Barbarian Rage trading cards.
$505 value.
See? Right here.
Do they come upside down?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, we're almost there. Hey, can I say real quick too that we've got the Random Skull interview, which is great, but also the one before that was Falcon Toys. That interview,
he's your hero.
He's my hero. And like, I mean,
Falcon's great, man.
Falcon's the reason that I make the toys I make. He opened, and my stuff is nothing like his, but he opened my eyes to what was possible with this medium.
Does he make stuff? He doesn't make stuff anymore.
He
Is he running an arcade? Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
But the interview is fantastic because it is this, it's the entire journey of him from, well, I do this, and then I made toys really hard for 4 years, and everybody loves everything, and now I walked away from that to do an arcade. It's a fascinating interview. So, the Random Skull is amazing, and then not to overshadow it, but the Falcon Toys didn't get a plug because we had an off week due to illness. So go back and watch both of those because they are great interviews. There you go.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm done patting Mike on the back now.
Mm-hmm. What else? If you place an order at dktoys.com and you mention DKE Toys TV in the notes section, we will include a free invisible sucklord.
It's the second best empty blister gag ever.
I like that there's the second piece. And
there's
the place. That's a
clam.
nice little touch. I like that.
That was a pain in the ass to get made.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Anything worth doing is usually a pain in the ass.
Yeah. If you're happy with what we do, leave a Google review. Next 2 weeks, we're going to be back with the first of our Boba Fett bootleg show. So we're going to go through the archive and we're going to pick out a couple dozen of I don't know. It's going to be part of a series, but anyway, we're going to start a couple dozen Boba Fett's, and it's going to sort of range from like the artistic stuff to like the puns, and sort of give everyone a little introduction to what handmade action figures can be, and for the uninitiated.
As long as they're Boba Fett.
As long as they're Boba Fett. Yep.
But
so
you know,
we're trying.
look, I mean, Boba Fett is the entry point for a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's true.
Boba Fett and
It's-
Buddha. That's it.
Yeah,
It's-
and Buddha, casting Buddha statues, totally
Casting Buddhas.
yeah, yeah.
good top pour, easy to kind of around with those. Yeah.
If you have any questions or comments, dktoystv@gmail.com. That goes straight to Janky. And Dan, if you want to tell everyone where we can find you, it appears below you right now.
Oh, just go to deathbytoys.com and
There you
then
go.
buy stuff. So I wish I had something new or exciting to plug, but more just the same bullshit. So don't abandon me, please. 'Cause I require all of you to keep this going. So which I appreciate.
Just hang tight. I got something in this notebook. I'm really gonna like it.
This
It's a
shit
really
is
good
gonna
one.
kill. Or not. But maybe tomorrow we'll bring something. But
I had an idea from the last notebook. It traveled into this notebook, and once it's
two
revised, it's gonna be
notebooks
good.
ago. That's the ones that we wanted. So
Right.
skip that one.
That's the killer, man. That's the killer.
I'm hunting it down. No, I throw them away. Like I said, I throw them away and never look back. Fuck it. I transfer a few things, and there's that little few weeks, and then move on.
Well, man, I'm gonna be out. You're gonna catch me rifling through your garbage.
I know we gotta time this so we know.
No, I actually think
there's got to
to
be a good
honest, I
idea
burn
there
'em.
somewhere, Scott. Shred them.
Yeah, I always end up burning them because I do bonfires with my buddies all the time. So then a lot of times it's just like, got it, just toss it right in. And
It's gotta be
there's no
kind of cathartic to like.
I was gonna say there's not actually any symbolic thing at all for me. It's just more things to burn usually at the moment. So just
I don't know why I just saw in my mind like Dan with his shirt off, like Lord of the Flies, just running around a bonfire. Like,
yeah. I mean, it's part of a ritual.
Did that come to your
but there's
mind
no-
too? I mean,
Yeah,
Shirt
no
and jean
catharsis
shorts and
with
yeah.
Yeah, we leave the jorts on during these kind of ritualistic burnings. They just help protect areas too. So
You don't want to take a spark to
yeah, no, it spreads like a garbage fire too, with the way I'm built. So we don't
Wow.
need that.
So there's that.
spreads like a garbage. There's a seed right there. Put that in the book.
Janky, Scott, where can we find you?
You can find me at Janky Toys on Instagram. I might actually start posting stuff other than other people's memes soon too. So
Wow.
oh,
And I am at barbarianrage.com. Join my newsletter and get first crack at all of my toys, and sign up now, and I'll give you a free digital copy of my first comic book, Barbarian Rage #1.
woo!
I have these going on right now. These are my Deadhead
those.
Berserkers. These are like my double cast, but there's like this Death Head inside.
Yeah,
There's
those
only a
look
couple
great,
of these
dude.
left.
Yeah,
My
those
first
are-
final toy.
Congratulations,
nice.
dude.
Very, very happy.
And without giving anything away, I've seen glimpses of what's to come, and it's only getting better. So very cool.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Yes.
Nice encouragement.
Very happy
among
with-
friends here.
Very, very happy with where it's going. So
I just subscribed to the YouTube channel too while we were sitting here too.
Eh,
so.
because he wants to
Whoa.
win the Ron English figures.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he doesn't give a shit about us.
$500 worth.
Yeah, dude, that's 6 months worth of income right there for me. $500. That's like a half a year. Kidding me?
Amazing. All right, guys. Thank you so much, Dan. Thanks for taking the time. It's always great to see you. And we'll see you
likewise.
guys
I
next time.
appreciate You guys. Yep.
Stay fresh, cheese bags.